let us move for your next article. So next article is latent heat equation, and which is given by the Clausius and Clapeyron. So it is sometimes called as Clausius-Clapeyron latent heat equation. Clausius-Clapeyron latent heat equation. So we will consider the today Clausius-Clapeyron latent heat equation. So we will consider heading, that is Clausius-Clapeyron latent heat equation. So actually there are the two latent heat equations. So first we consider first latent heat equation. First latent heat equation. So first latent heat equation, it is very useful to we can explain with the variation of your melting point of the solid with respect to the pressure, or the variation of the boiling point with respect to the pressure. That is, boiling point and melting point we can be studied with respect to your change in your pressure. Now this is an applicable for the substance which is undergoing to change of the phase, means there the substance changes its phase. So can we study it? So it is given by the Clapeyron, so it is called as a Clapeyron equation. Now this is presented in the indicator diagram on the PV diagram. To understand the latent heat equation, we consider now PV diagram. Should we remember PV diagram? If you have to remember figure, that is a PV diagram, then it is useful to be write the explanation about the latent heat equation. So should we remember latent heat equation, PV diagram. So now before going to this represent in your isothermal curve, you should be remembered there is one Andrews experiment. Andrews performed the number of the experiments to explain the behavior of the real gases. Okay, and that Andrews experiment, according to the Andrews experiment, so you should be remembered Andrews experiment performed the experiment on the CO2, and according to this, your CO2 will be exhibit the three states. It should be remembered these are the three states. Suppose these are the three states. Now this is your gaseous state. So this is your liquid state, and this is your the liquid plus gases. So according to the Andrews experiment, you should be remember gas will here to compress, it is a start to be converted into the liquid. So at this point start to be converted. Here is a Boyle's law is a follow, that is it is completely pure gaseous state. But at this point, suppose the A, at this point A, it will start to be the convert into the liquid state. So okay. So during this process there is a conversion process is done. So during the conversion process your pressure and temperature, this is your PV diagram. So pressure and temperature is remains constant. At this point suppose the B, this is a completely converted into the liquid state. So this is your liquid state. Now if you have to move the temperature is increases, then you can be draw the different curve. Now this all parameter is at a constant temperature. Now temperature is constant for this curve, temperature is constant for this curve. As you increase the temperature of the CO2, so this is the horizontal portion is length is decreasing here. If you have to plot here, so it is less greater. So there is a one certain point of the temperature. This is your certain point of the temperature above which your gas cannot be liquefied. Means above which gas cannot be liquefied. So this is one particular state, that is the gas is directly converted into the gas. It is not converted. However, we apply the pressure. So gas cannot be liquefied. So this is called as the critical point or called as the critical temperature. Corresponding pressure is a critical pressure and critical value. So this is your Andrews experiment. So should we remember here, above the critical point gas cannot be liquefied. Now you have to understand the PV diagram for our purpose, that is a study of the latent heat equation. So it can be according to this, we study this graph, latent heat equation. So it can be draw the one isothermal curve for the temperature T. Okay, suppose this is an A, B, C and isothermal curve. So temperature T, we can be plot the another curve. We can plot the another curve. Suppose this is a G H I G. Now this is another isothermal curve. Now this is for the temperature, suppose the T plus dt. T plus dt. This is a pressure and this is your volume. Okay. Suppose this is a constant pressure and this is your constant pressure P plus dP. Now you should be remember here, there are the two isothermal curves A, B, C, D and G, H, I, J. These are the two isothermal curves. This is for the temperature T and pressure P constant. Temperature T plus dt and pressure P plus dP is a constant. So temperature and pressure remains constant during the isothermal curve. Now you have to consider, if you join these 2 points, if you have to join these 2 points, okay, if you have to join these 2 points, then you can be write the another leveling here, D and N. So it should be remember, now we consider only this curve. Okay. So it should be remember, there is if you have to join this H and B and I and N. So this is your N. You should be remember N. Suppose H, I, N, M. We should be consider only this. H, I, N, M. See here, this is your correctly isothermal curve as well as this curve. So A, B, C, D. Now A, B, there is a liquid state. If it is on a converted, start to be in vapor state here at a point B. So conversion starting at a point B, B to the C. At a point C, it is completely converted into the gaseous state. It follows the Boyle's law here. So there is a conversion process will be the continue from B to the C. During this process, temperature and pressure remains constant. Means heat, amount of heat absorbed by the substance here, which is used to be work done for the changing the phase. So Similarly, you can explain this curve GHIJ, GHI. So suppose there is a unit mass of the substance. Suppose there is a unit mass, that is a 1 unit mass of the substance undergoes to the changes. Suppose HINM is an the reversible cycle as like the Carnot cycle. We say it is a reversible Carnot cycle. So there are the 4 processes in Carnot cycle. Should we remember here reversible Carnot cycle. So suppose here along the HI there is an amount of heat absorbed by the substance. Along the HI, suppose unit mass of the substance changes from the liquid to the gaseous state by absorbing the heat. Suppose according to the Carnot cycle is the Q1 is an amount of heat absorbed. But in this case, you should be remember when you are the substance undergoing to change in a phase, so amount of heat absorbed by the substance is called as a latent heat. It is called as a latent heat. So we say it is a latent heat. And latent heat is denoted by the L. Now in this case, Q1 is an amount of latent heat, it must be equal to L plus dL. It is an amount of heat absorbed by the substance at the temperature. This is L plus dL is the latent heat. At the temperature T plus dt. Now pressure is constant. Now during this process, your volume will be the expansion, because there is an expansion take place. So your volume will be increases. Suppose this is an P1 and this is an your V2. So volume will be the increases from V1 to the V2. Volume is increases from V1 to the V2. So there is a change in the entropy. This is an isothermal, isobaric, because during this process T and P plus dP both are the remains constant. Temperature and pressure remains constant. That is called a temperature constant isothermal. This is called as a pressure constant isobaric process. So isothermal, isobaric process. So change in entropy during this process. So change in entropy is equal to, according to your basic formula, ds is equal to dq upon t. In this case, it can be written dq is the amount of heat absorbed. Here is a T L plus dl, and the heat temperature is the T plus dt. So we got the change in entropy L plus dl divided by T plus dt. Now along the ion, here along the ion, so this is your ion. So this is a substance expand also again adiabatically, so its temperature will be decreases. There is no exchange of the heat with the surrounding. along the ion, Q is a constant. So temperature fall from T plus dt to the T. Temperature fall. So pressure also fall P plus dP to the P. Okay. Now during this process, there is no change in entropy. So change in entropy is a 0. Why? Because dq is a 0. Now you have to consider a third step, that is along NB. Now this is now your isothermal compression. It is an isothermal compression. Here isothermal compression. So temperature during this process is a constant. See, along the NB, so it is horizontal to the x-axis. So it is an horizontal to the your volume. So pressure is remains constant. Temperature is constant. So there is a compression is take place. So its volume will be decreases. So in this case, T is constant. So volume is decreases from V2 to the V1. Now process is once again isothermally, isobarically, because pressure constant, temperature constant. So it is isothermally and isobarically. So there is a compression is take place, temperature is constant. So there is a heat involved or heat rejected by the system. Now during this process, heat is rejected, but in this case there is a change in phase. So amount of heat absorbed during the phase transition is called as a latent heat. So latent heat is equal to, suppose by the basically Q2 as per the Carnot cycle, but here we consider L is a latent heat which is a rejected. It is rejected, you have to take on the negative sign. So change in entropy during this process L upon T. So this is the change in entropy L upon T. So change in entropy is nothing but there is a decrease, because latent heat is an absorbed. So it is a rejected. So it is called as a decreasing. And last process, that is along to the MH. Last step along to the MH. This is an once again adiabatic process, but it is a compression. It should be remembered, it stays same as in a Carnot cycle. So there is a no heat exchange. So Q will be the constant. So there is a compression take place. So temperature is increases. Here Q is a constant. Compression is there. So temperature will be increases from T to the T plus dt. Pressure is increases from P to the P plus dP. So there is no exchange of heat, so change in entropy is equal to 0. Change in entropy 0. And lastly your system comes to its original state by completing the one cycle. Now during the cyclic process, in one complete cycle, in one complete cycle, how much energy is absorbed by the system? There are the two processes where the exchange of the heat is done. One is a plus is a L plus dl, amount of heat absorbed. Second step la 0. Third step la minus L upon T. Only L, not taken change in entropy, minus L minus 0. So total amount of heat absorbed per cycle. Suppose or in one complete cycle, so this L will cancel, remaining term is the dl. The remaining term is the dl. So we got the dl is an total. Now the system comes to its original state, that is there is a one closed loop or closed cycle. So if we remember, there is an internal energy is a state function. So if their internal energy of system is considered, and if it is a Carnot cycle, that is a Carnot cycle, that is nothing but change in your internal energy is equal to change in internal energy is equal to 0. Change in internal energy is equal to 0. So according to the first law of the thermodynamics, dq is equal to dw. dq is equal to dw. Why? du is 0. So dq is equal to du plus du is equal to 0. Now this is nothing but the work done by the substance. So work done by the substance is equal to area enclosed by your closed loop. Here dw is nothing but area enclosed by loop. So area is nothing but base into height. Here base is the change in volume V2 minus V1. Height is the change in pressure P plus dP minus P. So PP will be cancelled. Remaining term is the dP P2 minus P1. Now this is nothing but dq, because the dq is equal to dw. dw is equal to dP P2 minus P1. Now dq is nothing but dl. dq is nothing but dl is equal to dP P2 minus P1. Now during this one cycle, change in entropy or total entropy. Entropy is also state function. So during this, L plus dl divided by T plus dt plus, but here is a minus sign in second term, so there is a minus here. Now total entropy of the over the closed cycle is equal to 0, because its initial and final state is 0. So we got the L plus dl upon T plus dt is equal to minus L upon T. So if you have to rearrange the term, so we got the L plus dl into T minus L T plus dt is equal to 0. So we got LT plus dl into T minus LT plus dt into L is equal to 0. So LT will be the cancel. So remaining term is the dlt plus dt L is equal to 0. So we got here it is a negative sign because it is minus, so it is a negative sign. So here is a negative sign. Once again we write this. So we got the dlt minus dt into L is equal to 0. So we got dl is equal to L upon T into dt. dl is equal to L upon T. Suppose this is the equation number A, and if you go back, so there is and this equation, this is the, if the left side is a dl, here is a dl, so right side must be equal, so dp v2 minus v1 is equal to this. So it should be put dp v2 minus v1 is equal to L upon T into dt. So by using the rearranging terms, we get dp upon dt is equal to L upon T divided by v2 minus v2 minus v. And this is your last equation. Clapeyron first latent heat equation. So if your work done is expressed in joule and if you measure the heat in calories, then we can be this equation can be only changes, which is L into J divided by T V2 minus V1. So J is the regular mechanical equivalent of heat. If work done and heat is measured heat in different, that is your heat is in calorie and work done in the joule, then you can be right, otherwise no. Now there is an application of the first latent heat equation. So there is supplementary question, there may be chances to be asked MCQ on the application. So you should be remember, it is the most important. Now here is a liquid is converted into the vapor state. When if the liquid is converted into the vapor state, that point is called as a boiling point. If liquid is converted into boiling point, liquid is converted into vapor state, then it is called as a boiling point. So if you have to consider effect of the change of the pressure on the boiling point, if the pressure is high, then what affects on your boiling point? You see that effect of pressure on a boiling point. So your heading will be must be, it should be understand, otherwise effect of change of pressure on boiling point. So now during the boiling, there the volume will be increases V1 to the V2. So V2 is a greater than V1. So V2 minus V1 is a positive. If V2 minus V1 positive in your equation, then dP upon dt is also positive. dP upon dt is a positive. Means if you are increasing the pressure, then boiling point is also increases. If you decrease, boiling point decreases. So if you decreasing the pressure, your liquid will be boiled in a lower temperature, and this principle is used in a pressure cooker. This principle is used in a pressure cooker. So in pressure cooker you can use the water boil at a higher temperature because pressure inside the cooker is greater than the atmosphere pressure. So pressure in a cooker is greater than your atmosphere pressure, so it will boil at the higher temperature. Pressure cooker, liquid will boil at the higher temperature. Second application, similarly, effect of temperature on melting point. So here is a solid must be converted into the liquid state. Solid must be converted in liquid state. So that is called as the melting point. So there are the two possibilities. First, if the solid substance melt to the liquid, then there is a volume is increases from V1 to the V2. So V2 minus V1 is once again positive. If V2 minus V1 is positive, then we say it is a dP upon dt is a positive. If dt upon dt is a positive, then your melting point will be increases with increase in the pressure. Melting point increases with the increase in the pressure. Should we remember it? Because there is MCQ, melting point increases with increasing the pressure. So as well as the gas process should be remembered. And second case, if the substance converted into the liquid state and if it is a contraction take place, then your volume suppose changes from V1 to the V2, but in this case V2 is a less than V1. So your V2 minus V1 is a negative. So your dP upon dt is a negative. If the dP upon dt is a negative, then we say there is a change in the pressure with respect to the temperature is a negative. Change in the pressure with respect to the temperature is a negative. It should be remembered. So the melting point decreases with increase in the pressure. Here, melting point increases with decreasing the pressure, or melting point is an increases with a decreasing pressure. That is exactly opposite. So melting point increases, pressure decreases. So this is about your application of the first law. Now we consider your second latent heat equation. Second latent heat equation. We add a page. So we got second latent heat equation. So second latent equation explanation is same as in the first latent heat equation. Only the small changes make. So once again you should be draw PV diagram. That PV diagram will be, PV diagram is the same as an earlier, so only there is small changes you should be understand. Then, so this is once again your isothermal curve A, B, C, D. Once again we consider your another isothermal curve GHIJ. Once again we should be consider your Andrews experiment. So according to this isothermal curve temperature must be the less than, that is temperature less than the critical temperature. Okay, so temperature must be the less than critical temperature. So it is not, it is an avalanche. Temperature is less than critical temperature peksha kami. So suppose once again your A, B, C, D is an your isothermal curve at the temperature T plus DT. Here explanation is same there. GHIJ is an also isothermal curve at the temperature T. Here pressure is the P plus dP, here is the pressure is the P. Once again it should be remember, here is the liquid state, here is the gaseous state. Liquid is started to be converted into gas vapor state from the B point. From B to the C it is an horizontal to the your C axis. So during this process once again your temperature and pressure will be the constant. So this is an your the T plus dP or T plus dt. So this is an your the T. So at the same time both are the constant during the phasor transition. Now a difference is here. You should be understand the difference there. We are considering the last Clapeyron heat equation. There is a Carnot cycle, that is a reversible Carnot cycle. Now here it is a cycle but not a Carnot cycle. So once again we should be draw, but we should be take the different colors, so you should be understand. So we will get this. So connect these 2 points. Okay, so this is suppose the C and this is suppose the BH. Okay, now we consider there is a unit mass of the substance undergoing to the phasor transition. Now cycle is not Carnot cycle. Because you should be remember here Boyle's law will be valid here, but here is an which is not a perfectly adiabatic process. So you should be remember here. So there is a along the BH substance is in a liquid phase. In a contact with the your vapor state. Along to the IC substance is in a gaseous state in a contact with the vapor state or gas vapor state. So should be remember along the IC this is a gaseous state but in contact with your vapor state. Along to the BH it is a liquid state but it is in a contact with your vapor state. So we will consider now one by one process. So first step is suppose the HI. Along the HI. So there is a change in a phase, that is a liquid vapor state. So during this process amount of the heat absorbed by the substance is this latent heat absorbed. It is called as the latent heat absorbed. At the temperature at the temperature T plus dT. It should be remember, if you have to understand force latent heat equation, then it is simple along the HI. Now temperature is also, pressure is constant, T plus dP, temperature is constant. Now your value will be the changes from V1 to the V2, that is the expansion is take place. Now it is an isothermal expansion because temperature is constant. Okay. Now we consider a second stage along the IC. In a last latent heat equation, consider it is an adiabatic expansion. There is no exchange of heat with surrounding. Now we consider this is the saturation curve. Now substance gives out the heat along the IC. Substance will reject the same amount of the heat, and that heat is equal to C2 into dT. So see here, it is the same amount of heat is given out. Now here C2 is the specific heat of your vapor in a contact with the liquid. Of your vapors in a contact with the liquid. As a result, temperature will be the fall. So temperature will be the fall from T plus dT to the T. Here C2 dt is the amount of heat rejected along to the ice. This is the new concept introduced in a second latent heat equation. It should be remembered there only. C2 dt is an amount of heat rejected, given out. Third step is along the CB. Similarly, as like the isothermal compression, so temperature constant, pressure constant, okay, temperature constant, pressure constant, so amount of heat rejected is the L, heat rejected. And the last step, that is along the BH. Now here substance will be moved from B to the H. So here C1 dt is the amount of heat absorbed. Amount of heat absorbed. So what happens? C1 is a specific heat of liquid in contact with your vapor state. C1 and here C2 is a specific heat. कशाचे liquid, चाहे gases or vapors in contact with vapor. Here is a C1 specific heat of liquid. So we got the C1 dt. So temperature will increases because it is absorbed heat. So T is increases to the T plus dt. So pressure is also increases T plus dt. So now you have to complete the one cycle. So in one cycle, total amount of heat absorbed by your unit substance must be equal to summation of all the heat. Total heat absorbed by substance. Total heat absorbed by the substance, or it is called as the net amount of heat absorbed by substance. In a first stage, there is a L plus dl is an amount of heat absorbed. In second step, C2 D2 is the amount of heat rejected. So there is a negative sign. Here it is a rejected, so negative sign. Third step, there is a minus L amount of heat rejected. Fourth step, C1 dt is the amount of heat absorbed. So if you have to rearrange the term, so it will be considered L will be the cancel, L will be the cancel. So see here L will be cancelled. So we got dl minus C2 minus C1 into dt. So total amount of heat absorbed, suppose the dq is equal to dl minus C2 minus C1 dt. Now by the force law of the thermodynamics, we can be written here dq is equal to du plus dw. It is cyclic process, so there is a zero change in internal energy. There is no change in energy because initial and final state is same. So get the dq is equal to dw. So dq is equal to dw. So dq is equal to nothing but dl minus c1 c2 minus c1 into dt is equal to dw. Now dw is the amount of work done during the one complete cycle, and this is equal to the work done is equal to the area enclosed by loop or cycle. So area of the HICB is equal to base is the V2 minus V1, height is the P plus dP minus C. So we got V2 minus V1 into dP. So we got the dP V2 minus V1. So if you could remember the last article equation this, so we got dP into V2 minus V1 is equal to dl minus C2 minus C1 into dt. So according to the first latent heat equation, we got the dP upon dt is equal to L upon T V2 minus V1. This is your first latent heat equation. First latent heat equation. So from this we can be right, rearrange the terms, dt move to this side. So we got the L into dt divided by T. V2 minus V1 is moved to this side. So we got dP V2 minus here dP V2 minus 1. So we got dl minus C2 minus C1 into dt L dt divided by T. So rearrange the terms, we should be get the dl upon dt minus C2 minus C1 is equal to L upon T. So we got dl upon dt minus L upon T minus C2 minus C1 is equal to T. and this is known as our second latent heat equation. Second latent heat equation, and it is applicable for the changes from liquid phase to the gases. So this is an about your latent heat equation you should be understand, and along to this will be finished your second chapter. So only remaining the problem will see one lecture. First chapter and second chapter will take the problem for first and second chapter.